Man to man. What is one sentence a woman told you that is still stuck in your head until this day? If you saw yourself the way I see you, you'd never be insecure about anything ever again. That got to me big time. If you don't like what I'm doing, please tell me. If you don't tell me, you'll end up despising me. You don't have to earn it. I was in the hospital just under 2 weeks ago after a suicide attempt. One of my closest friends came with me to the hospital and stayed by my side for hours. At one point I said that I didn't deserve her, that she was doing too much for me and I didn't earn it. She argued with me for a bit, telling me that she loves me and that she's always gonna be there for me, so I asked, what did I do to deserve this? So she said, you don't have to earn it. I love you no matter what. That was the moment I started coming to terms with the idea that love doesn't have to be earned. It's still completely foreign to me, but I'm working on it. I want to find someone that has your personality, but that is more attractive. I told my senior year prom date that I loved her at the end of the night. She said that must be hard. No one will want to be with you and you will be alone, my mother. Respectfully, you look very handsome. Definitely wasn't try to hit on me as they were recently married, but damn did it feel good. You don't deserve to have a family. Nobody will ever love you. This was not long after I received a paternity test result that showed a 0% match to my 3-month-old daughter. I'd give anything to unhear that shit. You'll make a great dad one day. My ex a few months before she dumped me. 1985. Senior kindergarten. We were using little Crayola scissors to make paper snowflakes. I unfolded my snowflake and it all fell apart. I couldn't understand what I did wrong. I showed the teacher, and she said, well, I wonder why. I also wondered why. I was 7 years old, but I wasn't stupid. I understood sarcasm when I heard it. Was absolutely furious. Still mad at her decades later. Hi. The first thing my wife said to me when she walked up the aisle. I love that woman so freaking much. I fucking adore you. My wife said it. Hits way harder than I love you. Not sure why, but I love it. After she admitted to cheating on me, I asked why. She responded with, it is what it is. What the fuck kind of answer is that? That's not an answer. That's an I'm a shitty person but don't want to admit it type of reply. I don't know if I want to be in this relationship anymore. I'd personally go for a good lawyer over a goof one every day. Clown lawyers are significantly cheaper, therefore you can hire multiple to work for the same price as one regular lawyer. If you can handle the nose honking and squeaky shoes, then you can get a whole gaggle for about $13.50 an hour per. Way more affordable than your average underwear wearing sober lawyer. Honey, I am afraid. Her last words before they put her under for an emergency C-section. Neither she or our son survived. I was sitting outside of an airport waiting for my brother to pick me up. This strikingly beautiful woman ended up sitting near me while on her phone just having a casual conversation. About a minute into it, with this charming southern voice, well hell if I know where I am. I am under a sign that says baggage claim, so I am baggage, come claim me. Needless to say that in spite of my attempts to hide my laughter by burying my face in my book, I hear her half giggling saying, oh, I see you over there laughing at me, mister. It was just a wonderful random interaction. When I held the door open to a mother and her daughter, the mother, asked if I was single and I said yes. She responded with, I'm too handsome to be single, made my year. Slite. After reading some comments I realize that some people are really wild out there. Take care of yourself and your hearts, y'all. You're too innocent. Lol. Okay Hitler. I'm not that well endowed, and when a girl pulled down my pants she said, what the hell am I supposed to do with that? Almost 15 years later I think about it every time I have sex. It hurts. As we were breaking up she looked me in the eyes crying and smiling, then said, sober looks the best on you, gave me our last kiss and then she was gone. If you loved me enough, I wouldn't have to sleep with other people. Textbook gaslighting approach to victim blaming right there, and I would hazard a guess that the infidelity wasn't the only problem in the relationship. Can I borrow your copy of Die Hard? My wife after our first date. Didn't tell me directly, but overheard a former crush say about me, "Yeah, he's rather ugly." That one pops up from time to time lol. Having some dizzy spells, went to the ER to get checked out. When the nurse came in to read my chart, she said, "Honey, you have a beautiful EKG." I was so proud, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. A1C wasn't beautiful though. Face with raised eyebrow. EU if you know, you know. A woman I was seeing opened up to me and said my grandfather molested me from a young age and family members knew. Nothing was done because he had money. I keep all compliments, how sparse they are in a vault. Into the vault it goes. My first wife, an alcoholic, when she decided to, drunkenly, finally tell me why she drinks during the day while I'm at work and she's supposed to be watching the kids. To spite you. And the kids. My second wife, a covert narcissist, when she caught me deleting texts to a therapist and I refused to tell her what it was about. You violated the sanctity of our marriage, you fucking piece of shit. Neither of us are religious. My current girlfriend on dating me. You are all of my birthday wishes come true. I would really like to fuck you, said sincerely by a drunk woman at a party, like 10 years ago. I've been seduced, but never to that level of openness. Think about it often. This will get lost in the thousands of comments, but I want to leave mine. Some years ago I was depressed and antisocial and didn't feel like leaving my home ever. One day a friend asked me if I wanted to hang out with her and her friends. I naturally said no because I wasn't feeling like it. She said, "Of course you feel like it. You just don't know it yet." That sentence stuck with me ever since and I use it as motivation to try out new things. We have been dating for 3.5 years. You were never home and I was lonely, said to me by my ex-fiancée after I caught her being railed by my then ex-best friend. Sounds simple and hokey, because I love you. My wife said to me when I honestly asked her why she was being so good and sweet and thoughtful to me, while we were dating. The reality hit me like a sack of bricks. I've known so many vacuous, insipid, short-sighted females. I couldn't understand why she was being so thoughtful and sweet to me, all the time. Because I love you. It pulled me out of the toxic bullshit relationship expectations that gets shoved down our throats from TV and media. It's become the reason for everything my wife and I do, every day, because I love you. You can't make me want to be with you, said by the woman I was married to during her affair. That sentence alone was the push I needed to end my codependency. It was just like one day a switch flipped and all of a sudden she didn't want to be around me anymore. It fucked me up pretty bad for a while. I tried desperately to win back her affection, but to no avail. Ultimately I learned that I wasn't the problem, her boyfriend was. She was the problem. Mine doesn't have nearly the gravity of many of these. Still, it's something I remember often. I was on a date. I was talking about myself, and after a while she stopped me. She said, "You know, I kinda thought you would want to know about me?" I realized I had spent the whole time talking about myself. After the obviously poor experience I really thought about that. She was beautiful. Way more stereotypically attractive than I would normally draw. She was a student, about to graduate from college in a very cool field. I never finished college, and kinda just drift vocational. I do alright. Still, I realized I was so insecure. I couldn't stop building myself up. To make myself feel worthy of the attention. So, I kinda missed out on something. Probably nothing, but she was out with me for a reason, and I did disappoint. You aren't who I thought you were. You do realize we want to keep you, right? My best friend's girlfriend when I was in a phase of depression and heavy drug abuse. Probably saved my life. I thought nobody cared about me, and if even I myself don't care about me, I might as well fuck up my body for some pain relief and fun. I still love you, I'm just not in love with you anymore. You are perfect. Literally everything I've ever wanted in a man. I don't understand why I can't seem to love you. This is how my first real relationship after a horrible divorce ended. With these words over the phone. It completely demolished my already fragile self-confidence. Having said that, my ex-wife didn't need to utter a single word to destroy me. She started growing distant, spending hours alone in her home office. One day, I knocked on the door. She opened the lock and peeked out. "I've never doubted you love me until now," I said. "Do you still love me?" She lowered her eyes and closed the door without saying anything. After almost a decade of marriage, she was cheating on me with another woman. "I don't love you anymore." I had this 1 year ago. I was living with my partner of about 4 years at the time. I was in the market for an engagement ring, thinking that was the next step. She'd made some new friends recently and stayed over at theirs sometimes after nights out. She came home early one morning, woke me up and told me I don't love you anymore, and I'm moving out today. Her new friends were actually some fat ugly dude. I was pretty athletic back then, looked after myself. It didn't really make sense to me, but whatever. She said she'd still help with rent as it was a really nice place that I couldn't afford alone. She didn't still help with the rent and I found myself in arrears very soon after. Worked 80-hour weeks across 3 jobs just to stop from drowning, while trying to finish my studies, have a probably unhealthy amount of casual sex, and struggling with my own alcoholism. This all resulted in a decent bout of depression that took me many years to fully recover from. A month or so later she came asking for me back, told me she'd made a mistake, blamed me for a rut she found herself in, but realized I was the one good thing in her life. I turned her away. Her sister called me trying to plead her case too, and I turned her away too. "You don't get to cheat on me. Tell me you don't love me anymore. Abandon me at that time in my life and then just undo all that like it never happened. And I'm not going to work hard in a relationship for someone that makes rash decisions like that and is happy to chance it with some new dude because her life got a bit stale." Fast forward 10 or 15 years, she's a divorced single parent always between jobs, still renting and living in a miserable industrial northern English town. "I have a beautiful family, a pretty successful career that I'm happy in, I'm sober, have a nice house and live far far away in sunny Australia. Fuck her. The best revenge is a life well lived." While referring to the size of dicks she prefers, she enthusiastically yelled in her thick southern accent, "Baby, I wanted to hit all 8 sides and tickle my spine." She wanted him to take her to the octagon. Girth. She wanted to be filled, stretched. The woman was an absolute nut in the most fun way. She was a proud redneck southern beauty who said whatever came to her mind without a filter. On a more positive note, one time this girl at the pizza place had been going to told me I had beautiful eyebrows, and I'll never forget that. Was young, dumb, full of cum and clingy. She was older and told me she was only supposed to be the cherry on top of my sundae, not the whole sundae. Hurt at the time, but now that I am older I appreciate she had the balls to tell me this. It is something I live by now. I can't love you the way you want to be loved. This isn't working for me, but you will always hold a special place in my heart. You were the best thing to ever happen to me. It's been about 3 years. I still catch myself thinking about her at least a few times a week. Yeah. Been single since, have no desire to date anymore.